Hi there, it's Lisa from 90% Knitting and Fiber Nymph Dye Works. I'm coming to you today not with a 90% knitting episode, but with a Fiber Nymph Dye Works oriented video. So if you aren't interested in some shop yarn talk and you would prefer to watch a regular video, a regular episode, you can check last week's, which I think was number 337, or hang out and wait until next week. I'll be recording the second we're in May, right? May episode next week. But meanwhile, when I recorded last time, in the shop news segment, I did tell you I was coming out with 6 new colorways. The new game night collection 2 game night collection 2 was debuting in the shop on Friday last week, which it did do. And if you already shopped it, thank you so very much for doing so. I appreciate that. But I did not have a chance in between when I recorded last week's video and when I did the shop update to do just a little shop segment that I could put up independently on YouTube. And so in case any of you don't follow social media or would not have otherwise seen these colorways, I wanted to take the time to do that video now while I have the opportunity to do it. And the fact that it went live on Friday doesn't impact your ability to get any of the colorways. They're all still in stock because I did this as a dye to order update, which is probably something I'm going to be doing with a lot of my new colorways moving forward here, at least for the next several months. I think I talked about that a little bit in the last episode as well, but I won't go into it again right now. All that to say is all 6 of the new colorways are in the shop. They're all listed as dye to order items that will ship out. I did put 3 to 4 weeks as the shipping time. That's probably pretty generous. I just wanted to give myself a little wiggle room just in case something happens, because you never know, especially these days. The murder hornets might show up and keep me from dying for a while. Who knows? The chainsaw grizzlies. Anyway, here's the fun thing. Well, one of the fun things about me doing this dye to order the way I'm doing it. Not only are you able to order everything as you want it, and then I dye it up for you specifically, I have it listed with the option of 10 different yarn bases that you can pick from. And that's kind of awesome because there's no way I could ever do that with a regular ready to ship kind of order. There's no way I could dye everything that I was dyeing on 10 bases. But if it's being dyed to order anyway, you can choose, and I just wanted you to have a whole lot of options. And so they all have 10 options, and let me see if I can remember the 10 bases that I put up as the options. Okay, so fingering weight, there's bounce, there's bedazzled, there's mountain tweed, there's squish 2.0, which is my Corriedale nylon base, which I don't dye a whole lot, but you can get it in this dye to order update. Heavenly. I think those are the 5 fingering weight bases. And then I have Traveler, my sport weight base, Bonafide and Beguiled, which are my DK weight base. Oh, and Mountain Tweed DK, and then Cozy, worsted weight. So those are the 10 bases. You can order any of these colors on any of those bases, and I will dye them up for you and get them shipped out to you as speedily as I possibly can. So I'm going to show you now, because that's why I'm here, right? You don't really need to hear me continue to talk. 6 new bases, or 6 new colorways. They're all along the lines of the game night series that I've done in the past. My original game night colorway was Advance to Go. It was a Monopoly colorway. That's not in this update. Sorry. I didn't add that one because that's a really, really old one. And I might end up using that for a Throwback Thursday colorway one of these days, or one of these weeks. We'll see. But anyway, then I had Face Card, which actually, that one had its day, but it wasn't one of the most popular ones. But then there was this one, which is That's Not Even a Word, which is the Scrabble colorway. So Bounce and Mountain Tweed. I dyed all the samples up on both of these since Mountain Tweed looks a little different, being a darker base. So this is from collection 1, and then Likely Suspects. I think I called it Usual Suspects when I was talking about it on the podcast last week. That's wrong. Likely Suspects, which is my Clue inspired colorway. So these are both in the shop along with all of the new colorways. So if you like those from collection 1, you can grab those too as well. Also dye to order. But my 6 new game colorways, here we go. This is in no particular order. I'm just going to show them to you in the order that I have them right here. First one up is Checkmate, which is a chess colorway. The color inspirations were the board as well as the pieces, of course. So the board that I used as my inspiration was a dark and light colored wood, and then the pieces, of course, are black and the lighter, not quite white, but ivory color. So Checkmate is one of the new colorways. Another one is called Life Goals, and that's how I named it as a question, because it is inspired by the game of life. I took the colors from the colors on the box where it spells out life. So it's these 4 colors, which you can see the mock-up of all of the striping patterns for these in the listings. But the purple, the green, the blue, and the gold that are behind those letters on the game box, that was the inspiration. I put it as a question because I have to be honest, this was never one of my favorite games to play with my kids. They had it, but it was like even, I don't know. It felt really presumptive to think that the goals that they were giving you to work towards on that game were goals that everybody would want to have in their life, and it was very, very money centric. Like Monopoly is too, really, though. If you think about it, the winner is the one who has the most money, hotels and houses and stuff at the end. So yeah, but this one just really, I never really liked life, but I've had a lot of requests for the colorway, so I decided to do it. It's fine, it's just not one of my favorite games, but I do actually really love this colorway, the way the colors came together. So anyway, wow, that's like a stunning commercial for something, isn't it? That would be like Dairy Queen saying, yeah, I don't really like ice cream, but whatever. Here, it's pretty. I'm insane. All right, let's move along. Another one that I absolutely adore, how the colors turned out, the colorway. And I like the game, although we never used to play it a whole lot because my kids didn't get it until they were much older. And by then, there just wasn't a whole lot of game playing going on. But its inspiration was the game Apples to Apples. And I named it GALAS to Grannies because they're names of 2 different kinds of apples. One being a red apple, GALAS, and Granny Smith's being that acidy green. So again, the colors took their inspiration from the colors on the box. Now, if you play the adult game, Apples to Apples, the box is mostly red. I'm sorry, my nose is super itchy. And I'm trying not to scratch a lot. But anyway, the box is mostly red, and then the green is an accent. Whereas Apples to Apples Junior, the box is mostly green, and red is more of an accent. So the red and the green are both really big stripes in this colorway, as is the yellow and the white, and the black is a wee stripe that alternates. I was going to say intersperses. It alternates with the other ones. So anyway, GALAS to Grannies. I love how that one turned out. Now, a game I absolutely loved playing with my kids when they were young was Battleship, and that's the inspiration for this one, which is called Sunk. Because you sunk my battleship. This is a 4-stripe colorway. The game board has kind of changed over the years, I've noticed in looking at pictures, but I didn't want to do a really dark battleship kind of gray. I know that doesn't make sense. I wanted to use the blue because the newer games are, I think some of the newer game boards I saw when I was researching are a lighter blue. So that's what I went with for this color that alternates between the other 3 colors, which is the red and the white for the game pieces, and then you've got the gray for the battleships that you're trying to sink your opponent's battleship. So that is Sunk. 2 more. One of my favorite games when I was a teenager and probably as an adult, anytime I could actually get somebody to play it with me, which nobody ever wanted to play this with me because I'm not a ruthless game player, but man, Trivial Pursuit, I love Trivial Pursuit and I was always really good at it. The original Genus edition, I love that game. And that was the inspiration for this one, which I'm calling So Very Trivial. So this is a 6-stripe colorway, and the colors are all the 6 colors of the little game pieces, like the round things that you put your little, we always called them pieces of cheese. And they also represent the 6 categories that you answer questions in. I will not even try to say which ones they are. I just know orange was always the one that had to do with sports, and I always tried really hard to not land on anything orange because that was the one category I knew pretty much nothing about. I usually lucked out and was able to answer something so that I was able to win a lot of the time, but yeah, that was my least favorite category. Anyway, the last new colorway is called Puzzled. Now, obviously, jigsaw puzzles are not one set game, but I do know a whole lot of people are doing jigsaw puzzles right now while they're stuck at home, and they're a great way to pass the time. And my mom and her husband have been doing so many jigsaw puzzles, and they're very frustrated because now, like, they're trying to order new ones, and, like, they're backlogged, back ordered for months and months. But I wanted to do a colorway representative of jigsaw puzzles, and I used one of the she keeps sending me pictures every time they finish a game, and so I used the picture of one of the puzzles that she sent me as sort of an inspiration, although it does deviate a good bit from the actual picture. But this is how it stripes up. So this is Puzzled, and it is a 5-stripe colorway. The wide stripe is the bigger background color, and then you've got all these pops of color. The puzzle, hopefully I'll have put a picture of it up here on the screen for you. It was a beach scene, like a really animated beach scene. So, like, there was all these different colors of umbrellas and the sand, and then there was all the water in the sky. So that's where that comes from. I was trying to sort of replicate how a puzzle piece has like that big center chunk and then the 4 little bumps usually on either side of it. So that's how I came up with this design for the striping pattern itself, let alone the colors. But anyway, so that is Puzzled, and this has actually been a super popular colorway. As you can see, the stripes are all either semitonal. The blue stripe is a semitonal stripe, and then all of these other stripes are variegated, so they have different colors. This one's a red gold. This one is a blue, green purple, which is looking a little brown in this light, but it's green purple. This one is pops a bright pink on a white background, and then this one is like a brown and a sand with little splotches of black in it. But the black is really blended in, so you're not getting super, like there's a little splotch of black. Anyway, so those are the 6 new colorways that are in the shop, ready for you to order, and I will dye them for you. Again, you have that choice of 10 different yarn bases, and I'm super excited about these colorways. The game night collection has always been one of my favorite collections that I've dyed. And I've done different collections over the years, but this one's always been one of my favorites, and it's been fun adding more to it. Yeah, that's everything new that I put in the shop. I'm trying to think. I did do some restocks. I did some restocks of the 9th anniversary colorway, customers' favorites. I have some of those listed as in stock because I do have some in stock skeins of that right now. So you can choose from either what's in stock, or you can still do the dye to order on that. I did restock a little bit of Shepherd's Pie, which was my Pie Day colorway this year. What else? Sorry, I have to look over there. Hey, did you notice where we're at? This was the yarn room. Like, you've been here before. I've recorded in here, and I used to record back in this corner, and behind me used to be all my yarn cubbies. Obviously, that's not what's there right now. that is my desk. I think I talked about this on the last podcast during 10% that we did some furniture swapping around. Well, that's my desk. And I'm sorry, it's sort of a hot mess, although honestly, no. My desk always looks like that. I have sticky notes everywhere all the time. The room itself is still a bit of a mess. I do not quite have it all put in order, but this is now my official Fiber Nymph Dye Works headquarters because, well, there's some of the yarn. That shelf and that shelf has a lot of self-striping. This shelf has some self-striping, but mostly color play #2. That's my pointer finger. Oh my gosh, that looked bad. Color play #2. And then there's kits, and oh no, the kits are up there. You can't see them. There's fiber. There's stuff in those cabinets down there. And then I've got about, I think, 8 bins that are now stored over in the other room, which was the office, which is still my husband's office, but all my personal stash yarn cubbies are also over there now. But we also, long story, I had to move a whole bunch of stuff out of this room to make way for some other stuff going on, and so all of my bins of business yarn are over in the other room. They're easily accessible though, so feel free to order anything and I can just grab it for you out of there. That's everything that's in the shop right now. I'll just mention again, since we're kind of in a shop mode right here, save the date. June 1st is when I will be putting the pre-orders up for this year's holiday countdown collections, the mini sets. I'm working right now to get the description of that all written up, and that will be up on both the website, and I'll put it up in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry. And then the questionnaire will open up for you to place your pre-order request on June 1st. So I'll have more to say about that in the next podcast, but I just wanted to remind you now. Also, if you want to stay in the loop in between my episodes, especially when I don't have time to do these special little episodes like this, one of the best ways to do that is sign up for the newsletter, which you can go to the www.fibernymphdyworks.com website, and at the very bottom there's a sign up for the newsletter link. I believe there's one in the shop too. I don't remember now, but you can sign up for the newsletter there. What else? Social media, Instagram and Facebook, the Facebook page are the two places that I do always post a lot of pictures when I'm doing an update. So that's a good place to follow. But I would say the newsletter and then the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram and the Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook are the best places to stay up to date with what's going on in between my episodes and special videos. So that's everything. I hope you are having a great beginning of your week. We've got some sunshine today, which is wonderful because we've had cold and snow, and that's just not nice in the double digits of May. Anyway, have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.